Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Scorpio, tonight we have the Ace of Cups, which is all about, establishing those emotional connections, the vessels in which we carry our emotions, right? And what does that mean? To me, it's all about learning how to react, our coping mechanisms, using our emotions, and really, and this might sound kind of bad, but the emotions of others around us, being able to notice and read the room and go with the energies, but using that in our favor. Right? And I don't mean taking advantage necessarily, but noticing maybe somebody in your life that you care about and you are friends with and you want to be closer with them, you notice they might be feeling kind of, listless, glum, maybe a little melancholy or whatever. So you pick up on this energy and you say, well, maybe this is a good time for me to try to establish a deeper friendship. Maybe if I start talking with them more, checking up on them, saying, hey, what's going on? How you doing today? Do you want to go do this thing? Do you want to go walk? Do you want to go, hang out for a little bit or whatever? This is the kind of thing I'm talking about, is noticing. Now, not using it in a predatory sense. No, that's not what I mean. But I feel like when I see this card, it's like we start to really notice and recognize this layer of our life that is that emotional side. Now, not everybody's thinking about this all the time, which I, as a very emotional Virgo, solar Virgo, lunar Aquarius, and rising Capricorn. Ugh. I know. Did you say and 3 major Leo placements, especially in my Mars and Venus, right? Yes, emotional lady over here. Very emotional lady. But I feel like you're really good at picking up on that emotional level, but a lot of people aren't necessarily even, noticing it, right? They aren't even thinking about these things. And so I feel like for you, and when I see this card, it's like, okay, so now I'm aware. I'm very aware. I'm very aware of how I feel, how people around me feel, and we're going to see how this kind of affects the tea leaves. What is this going to add in? Because we have a big helping of emotionality here. And you know what? Emotional maturity. That's the other thing that comes through when I see that card. All right, so immediately, and I want to say thank you before I get started for clicking on the reading. Is always such an honor for me. It truly is. To be here, being able to do tea leaf readings, divination as my work, my spiritual work, my highest work, but also in the material world. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Let's get started. So in the middle, we have the solar bark. What is that? That's that beautiful type of ship that we know, some of the, I might be wrong here, but I know that they're in different reliefs, like hieroglyphic reliefs within the tombs of pharaohs and other important people that have been buried, kept in these pretty amazing, what are they called? Tombs, temples, places. Now, I know that they have glyphs of them, okay? And for some reason, I can't recall if there's actually ever been one found, and they're little boats. I mean, they're not little, they're long boats. They look little because they don't have the big sides, right? And you can see them, and even, listen, this is These look so much like hieroglyphics, and in the seated pose. And I'm just gonna look it up. I have to. The seated hieroglyphic pose. I'm gonna look up seated hieroglyphic pose meaning. The seated man. Is this it? Yeah. Yes, and arms lifted, which we have. How can I show this? I want to show it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. I don't know if I'm allowed to. It's Wikipedia, so I think it should be okay. I want to show this to you right here. You see that? Now, we're going to look at it right here. Okay, now let me put them next to each other. They're not exactly the same, but they look similar, right? You could see right here, the head, the arm is raised, the body in the seated pose, even with the knee at the point, right? Can you see that? So this is called the man of adoration. When we have our hands lifted to the sky like this, if we see symbols, any of the symbols where people's hands are raised or animals are raised, their head is upwards looking, this is a posture of awe. Awe, adoration, belovedness, agape. Okay, these are all sacred loves. These are loves of the universe, loves of God, goddess, the divine. Okay, so we have this person at the highest peak sitting on this boat on a spiritual journey, right? Now we also have, it looks like almost like a pep, which is a Egyptian god. He was a snake. He's a snake. I shouldn't say was. He's out there somewhere in the cosmos. A snake, a serpent deity, the great adversary of, and I'm gonna say Horus. It could be Osiris. I don't know. I'm not good at these, like all of the mythologies, but he was always in this cosmic battle, right? Good, bad, evil, good, black, white, light, dark, all of these kinds of very dualistic things, right? So I'm looking at this and I feel like this is so much about you really learning, Scorpio, to overcome some of these, I guess it's, and I say this with great love, and I always say this about us Virgos. I'm a Virgo, you're a Scorpio. We're like twins. You're the cooler twin. So anything I say, I have to tell you, I also usually identify with, and this is something I really do identify with, is that it's the stinking thinking, right? The Scorpio mind is one that is vast and creative, but when you get your gaze set on something where you're going to be upset at somebody, you're going to feel slighted, you're going to get, suspicious or paranoid, and it might be based on valid feelings, right? But sometimes it just gets to be almost like you can't get out of the cycle of thinking, the loop, right? The thought loop. So I feel like for this, it's so much about mastering this aspect of self to evolve as a being. And because we have the solar bark, that tells me that this is about illumination. This is about you coming into a realization about yourself that might be very, confronting. It might be painful. It might be something that you immediately say, oh, they're just saying that because they're haters. They're jealous. That's not me. That's not me. They got the wrong person. That's them. That's what they're projecting, all these things. And I've said all of them and I felt all of them. I'll probably feel some of them today. I usually do at some point, right? But we stop ourselves, we grab ourselves, Grab myself by the shirt. Don't go any further. You're about to go off the side of a cliff, lady. Stop thinking that way, And that's it. It's learning to catch ourselves, learning to notice how we feel. Okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit annoyed. I'm starting to feel, ooh, girl, why did that lady just look at my husband that way? You know what I mean? And then you're like, did he look back? This is like stuff with my first husband, right? I don't like crawling into these feelings and remembering them, but yeah, they happen. They happen, and let's be real about that. Sometimes that stuff happens, but you know what we do? Instead of investing in it and saying, yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Let's take care of this. Let's make sure this isn't, Nope, we say, yeah, that sucks. I don't want to feel this way. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm not going to let this one take the driver, take the wheel. We're going to notice how we feel. Okay. And let it go. You know what? If that's the case, that's whatever they're doing or whatever's happening has nothing to do with me, right? People make their own choices for infinite reasons. It is not anything to do with me. And if that's what it is, then we'll have to deal with it. But I'm not going to worry myself about it. I'm not going to surrender my freedom and my freedom of thought and feeling and just to feel well, to feel like a being that is, supposed to be here, and I'm doing the right thing by being alive and experiencing life and, doing my best, right? I don't want that to be corrupted by these kind of transient thoughts and feelings and other people's behaviors. And I just use that as an example because that's, listen, that's one of the big fears that I think most of us have, right? Is infidelity, is our families becoming unstable, falling apart, and it's hard not to worry about these things, even within our jobs. Because we live in a time where it's very apparent, more apparent than maybe any other time, that things don't last. They're not meant to. And I don't mean love. Let me just say, I'm not talking about love or like a marriage or anything like that. But listen, life is ever evolving and changing and shifting, and things are coming, to life and to their peak, and then they go through that ultimate, dissolution, falling apart, turning into a million different pieces, and then reforming into other things. Right? And this is all a natural process. So, of course, it would be mirrored in our psyche. But we cannot let it rule us. It cannot be the focus of our life. Because then you're just stuck. You're stuck. So we carry on. And that's what this is about, carrying on. Now, I do feel that this is a very spiritual time for you. I feel that you have a deep connection to yourself and to that divine thing, whatever that is, whatever you call it. And that's why we have that person of adoration. Now, up here we have the goat. Okay, we also have the number 38. Okay, the goat is, it is the devil energy right here. Don't be afraid though. This is not a thing coming into your life to wreck it. This is an energy of rebellion. This is an energy of, I'm not taking this SH anymore. It's time for something different in my life. And I'm doing it with intention, right? And so I do. I feel like wherever you are in this journey, and it is unburdening yourself, shedding those old ways to benefit you going forward. And that needs a dash of rebellion. It's so easy for us to devote ourselves to things that are archaic in our lives. You know, I often think when we send our kids off to college or out into the world, and so often people expect these young people to know, like, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to go to school and spend, 200 grand and get in debt to do? And you should know this by the time you're 17 or 18 or maybe 19 if you're super late. My goodness. 19, you should already, be knowing what you're going to do for your doctorate and that kind of thing. And I jest. But this idea that we should know, like, we're not going to change a million times. But then you'll meet people who have stayed the course, right? Even after they knew. They might have, known as soon as they graduated college and got out into the workforce, this is not for me, but they're still doing it 30 years later. And you have to think, like, what is that kind of life like? Now, full respect for the devotion, right? To stay the course is not easy. But when we get that devil energy, that rebellion, that's when our eyes, there's nothing to, no illusion to be had. The veil is not even just lifted. The veil has been ripped off and burned. The devil energy is saying, hey, look at all this. This is how you live? This is how you live, mama? Not anymore. You can't go back into that and just cozy on up and turn your mind off. Nope, you've seen it. You've seen what it really is, and now something's got to change. And that's where we're at. I feel like you are on a mission. Now, we have the number, or the word S-I-X, okay, 6. We have the word 6. We also have the duck. So you do have some things coming along that are going to be difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think that it's going to be in the social realm because, and I see this, it looks like we have somebody standing way up here, right? Like they've had to traverse this path up top, going higher and higher and higher. Now, we also have what looks like a UFO right here, and we have a arrow. So I feel like maybe this is quite literal. You are somebody who has had encounters with seeing UFOs, or maybe you've had full on, you've met entities of a different place or time or dimension or whatever it is, okay? So I feel like you have a strong interest there. There is even a belovedness, okay? So I feel that you have your beloved probably in, I don't know, your dream worlds coming through in your active imagination, interior work, visions. Maybe you have full encounters. Maybe you are, I don't know, maybe you experience alien encounters and you have a belovedness there. I don't know, but I do feel like you love the high strangeness. You love the supernatural. And it's not something that I think is scary for you so much as like, when you have these periods of time where it's not happening as much consciously, I feel like it's almost like life feels very bleak. Okay. So I feel like part of this change that's happening within you is allowing for you to access these places within self and, in relation to the different kinds of maybe magical work you're doing, or maybe you are like a ghost hunter, or you're, into ufology or whatever. And this spiritual work is allowing for you to go deeper within those interests and those things that you spend your time doing, right? So let's go ahead. We're going to look over here. We have a volcano that looks like it's erupted, and now it's starting to clear. So I feel that there has been some kind of, I don't know, conflict within the family or family unit. And I feel like that's coming to a place of ease. There is a truce happening. Is it over? I don't think so. At least there's not like real closure here, but I don't think it's something that's going to come up again anytime soon. So whatever it is that you did to be a part of kind of, I feel like you were like maybe like kind of the diplomat in the situation. Whatever you did to kind of mediate, I think that really worked. I think it was and it's a role that I think that you have had to play, but as you're getting older and as you are really coming to that place of tempering self and fortification and kind of realigning your vision of the work you want to do in this world, I feel like you are realizing I'm really good at helping counsel people and like conflict resolution and that kind of thing. So let's do our 3 lucky numbers and then we're going to get out of here. We have number 100, 85, and 63. All right. And we will finish with our wild bohemian affirmation. No, you know what? We're going to do our Dreamer's deck. Today I did that for the other reading, and I want to do it again. Dreamer's deck affirmation cards. We're going to stop where it feels right. And it says, I know that it is important to celebrate each win, no matter how big or small. I am celebrating me. Do it up. Come on, Scorpio. How are you going to celebrate? Let us know in the comments. All right. I'm going to hurry up and close off here. I just want to tell you I love you. Thank you for being here. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, yeah, we're going to talk in a few days. All right, Scorpio, I love you. I love you. I love you. Good night. Take care of yourself.